We begin now at the top of Daf Yud Amud Aleph Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 10a. The Gemara just finished off with a statement by Abaye. Abaye said that if a person begins to eat, so then the halacha is that if you hold that Ma'ariv is a chova, we're talking specifically about Ma'ariv, so he ate before Ma'ariv. If you hold that Ma'ariv is an obligation, so then the person actually does need to stop his eating. So the Gemara asked over there, what are you talking about? By mincha, which certainly is an obligation, it's not even a machlokas. We know the halacha is once the person unfastens his belt to begin eating, halacha is he does not have to stop. So certainly you should not have to stop when it comes to Ma'ariv. Why is Abaye so strict when it comes to Ma'ariv? So the Gemara picks up and says as follows: Hasam lo shchicha shichris. Over there, when it comes to mincha time, it's not very common for people to get drunk, and therefore we're not so worried that he's going to miss mincha. We don't make him stop his meal. Hacha shchicha shichris. When it comes to Ma'ariv time, the evening time, it's common for people to get drunk, and that's why Abaye was more strict when it came to Ma'ariv, and he said that if Ma'ariv is an obligation, you need to stop the meal. Inami or b'mincha keven dekviya lo zimna mirsas v'lo lemifsha. When it comes to mincha, there's a very set time. The idea is that mincha time essentially ends at shkia. Arvis, but when it comes to Ma'ariv, Kevin the Kula Leil Yazman Arvis, the person has all night to daven Ma'ariv, so Lo Mirsas, he's not going to be so worried. V'asi Lemifshan, and the contrary, because he thinks he has so much time, he's actually going to be negligent, and that's why we force you by Ma'ariv, if it's an obligation, to stop the meal. So the Gemara says, Maskif Lord of Sheshis. Rav Sheshis asks, Trichusa Lemeser Hamayne. First of all, is it so difficult to undo a person's belt that we say we don't bother him? Right, when it comes to, let's say, mincha time, we don't bother to make him do that. V'od, and furthermore, leiku hachi v'litzli. He says, besides for the fact that it's not a bother, why can't he just daven mincha with his belt loosened? Right, so Rav Sheshis is asking two things. It's not that hard to put your belt back on. It's not such a tircha, so we should require it by mincha. And number two, let him keep the belt loose, and he should daven as he is. Gemara answers, Mishum shenemar hikon lekrasa lokecha Yisrael. The pasuk says you need to prepare yourself to look good, to look nice when it's time for davening. So the truth of the matter is, we would require a person to tighten up his belt, and therefore it's not 100% clear. The Mefarshim discuss whether we answered the first question, but therefore, essentially, when it comes to mincha time, we do not require that, and we say again that if the person already undid his belt, got ready to eat, he doesn't have to stop the meal. He can eat, and then we trust him that he's going to be able to daven mincha on time. The Gemara now continues. Rava bar Rav Huna, Rami Puzmiki umatzli. So he used to. Rashi says what it means here is that Rami Puzmiki nosen an pilos chashuvim beraglov uvelaz kaltsus. He had these nice kind of shoes on when he davened. Again, it's for the same reason. Amar, he said, Hikon likras v'gomer. The pasuk says the person should look nice for davening. Rava shadi glime ufachar yade umatzli. So Rashi explains, shadi glime mashlech adarto me'olav. He would actually take his nice cloak off of himself. Shelo yirek hachashav. He shouldn't look so important. Ufachar yade, Rashi says, chovek yadav betzvos. He would kind of like hug his hands inside his fingers. Ka'adam hamitztar me'imas rabu, like somebody who fears his master. So that's how he would daven. So he, on the contrary, he would actually daven. Amar, he would say, Ka'avda kame mori. It's better to daven like a servant in front of his master. So he wouldn't try to be so chashiv. He would look more like a servant. Amar Rav Ashi said, Chazina Leila Rav Kahana, I saw Rav Kahana, Ki ikot Sara bialma, when there was bad things in the world, Shadi glimo fachar yadim matzli. He would daven, like we said before, take off his cloak, and he would clasp his palms, his hands inside his palms, and Amar, and he said, Ka'avda kame morim, like a servant in front of the master. However, Kika Shalma, when there's peace in the world, Lavish umaskase, he would put on a nice garment and wear it, umasate, wrap himself, umatzli, and he would daven, Amar Hikon likras alokecha Yisrael, he would say, based on the pasuk of Hikon likras alokecha Yisrael, the idea is, depending on the times, would be how he conducted himself when he was davening. Rava Chazia l'Rav Hamnuna de Kamarich b'Tzeluse. Rava once saw Rav Hamnuna, he was being very lengthy in his davening. Amar, he said, Manichin chaye olam v'oskim b'chaye shah. You're leaving aside eternal life, and instead you're dealing with this chayesha, with temporary life. The idea is that davening, really, what is a person davening for? A person's davening for material things in this world. So you should don't be so lengthy in davening, because it's better to do chaye olam, better to deal with things that have to do with learning Torah, as opposed to dealing with chayesha. However, but he thought Zman Tefillah L'chud is Zman Torah L'chud. There's a time for Tefillah, and that's independent from the time for Torah. It's time for davening. You don't say that when a person's davening, it's considered Bittul Torah, that he's not learning. Rav Yirmiyah have a Yosef Kamed Rav Zera. Rav Yirmiyah was sitting in front of Rav Zera. V'hava Aski B'Shmaita, they were learning. Naga Litzluye V'hava Komisar Hev Rav Yirmiyah. So Rav Yirmiyah, it was getting close to, it was getting dark. It was time to daven. Rashi says Naga means Icher. It was getting late. So he started to get up quickly he wanted to make his way to davening. So he essentially left the learning in order to hurry up and make davening. So Kari Aleh Rabbi Zera called upon him. He thought this was inappropriate because in the middle of learning Torah, you shouldn't be hurrying even to daven. Meser Azno Mishmoa Torah, a person who removes his ear from listening to Torah, Gam Tfilaso Toeva, his tefillah is also going to be considered an abomination. So again, these two stories both illustrate the idea of whether or not really discuss the idea of whether or not davening has a certain, or whether or not learning has a certain precedence to davening. Gemara now asks, returning to the ideas in the Mishnah, when is it considered the beginning of a judgment? We talked about the fact that there's the beginning of a court case and the end of a court case. So Rav Yirmiyah of Rabbi Yonah, there's a machlokus about this between Rav Yirmiyah and Rabbi Yonah. One opinion is it's when the judges wrap themselves to get ready for the din, so they're putting on the garments of judgment. The other opinion is that it has to do when the Balei Dinim open up with their opening statements. So the machloka seems to be, is it when the judges get ready for din or when the litigants start the din? But it's really not an argument. It depends if the judges have been judging other cases that day. If they've already been judging other cases, so they're already in their garments, so the only way to measure the beginning of a din is by the litigants. But if this is the first court case of the day, then obviously you measure, or you're able to measure, and so you do measure by the judges. Ravami v'Ravasi haviyasvi v'garsi beinei amude. Ravami and Ravasi used to learn. They sat and learned between the pillars in the Beis Medrash. V'chol shaita v'shaita have a tafchi ha'ibra dedasha, and then every single hour they would basically knock on the threshold, on the wall, the amri, and they said, "Iika di islay dina leo v'lesi." If somebody has a judgment, let them come and have it. So every hour they would make an announcement that we're ready to hear any cases that need to come before us. Rav Chisda v'Rav bar Rav Huna haviyasvi bedina kuli yoma. So Rav Chisda and Rav bar Rav Huna were sitting in judgment all day. Havakacholish libayu. They were getting weak. So Tanalu Rav Chia bar Rav Midifti. So Rav Chia bar Rav Midifti, he taught them the following brisa: Vayamod ha'am al Moshe min haboker ado erev. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu judged the people from day until evening, from morning till evening. Do you really think that Moshe Rabbeinu judged the whole day? When did he learn Torah? It's to tell you, called Dayan Shadon Din Emes Lamito. Any judge who issues a judgment that's true, even if he does it for one moment, so he's not sitting all day. It is as if he's a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the creation. Here the language is from morning till evening. The same language is used by creation. So basically he seems to have been telling them, the idea seems to be that they don't need to worry about judging all day. We'll see Rashi here now, a couple opinions about this. Rashi says, it wasn't just that they were weak from the long hours. They were upset that they hadn't learned any Torah that day. So don't feel bad. There's a great reward for Dayanim. So that's one understanding of what he said. So Rashi here makes a good point. The language of libayu, and if you were going to say someone was depressed, which is how Rashi explained it just a second ago, that would be cholosh datayu. That's not cholosh libayu. V'loshen cholosh libayu, loshen tainasu, shelo sadu kolayom. Cholosh libayu usually means you're like, I translated in the Gemara, it means the person is weak because the person hasn't eaten all day. So Tanalu Chia Barav, shein tzrichim leishev v'lidon kolayom. So according to this approach, Chia Barav told him, you don't need a judgment, you don't need to sit in judgment all day. Mix a little bit. He says, when it says by Moshe Rabbeinu from morning into evening, it's not to tell other judges you need to go from the morning till the evening. The idea is it's a medrash, and the medrash is that a person who issues a good judgment is like a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Ma'aseh Bereishis. So he was telling them you don't need to. So according to the first opinion, he's telling them you don't need to feel bad that you're not learning. According to the second opinion, he was telling them you don't actually need to do this all day. It's causing a weakness and it's not necessary. The Gemara then says, Ad Masai Yoshvin Bedin. Until when in the day do we sit in judgment? Amar Rav Sheshes says, Ad Zman Seuda, until the time of the main meal of the day. We'll talk about in a moment when that is. Amar Rav Chama says, Micro, what's the pasuk that supports this? Techsiv, because it says in the pasuk, Eilecha eretz shemalkecha noar v'sarecha baboker yochlu ashrecha eretz shemalkecha ben chorem v'sarecha beis yochelu b'gvura v'lo b'shti. So the idea here is, woe is to the land that the king is awake and the officers are eating in the morning. And fortunate is the land that your king is a free person. Woe is to the land that your king is a nar, that he's a young person, that he's foolish. And the officers are eating in the morning. And fortunate is the land that the king is a ben chorin, is a free person. And the sarecha, the officers, are eating at the proper time, begavura, with might, v'lo b'shsi, and not with drink. What does that mean? Begavura shel Torah, v'lo b'shasiya shel yayin. The idea is that they're dealing in the gavura, in the might of Torah, and they are not dealing in the drinking of wine. So the point basically is, it's proper that at the Zman Seuda, the proper Zman Seuda is when the person should, the Dayanim should eat, but not too early. And now the Gemara goes on to explain with a brisa when these times are. Taner Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa, Shal Rishona Macholudim. In the first hour of the day, it's the meal time. That's when the Ludim would eat. Rashi explains that the Ludim were basically gluttonous people. It was a particular nation. Shniya Machal Listim, in the second hour of the day, that's when the robbers eat. Shlishas Machal Yorsh, in the third hour of the day, that's when those who inherit wealth, they eat. Rashi explains there, Machal Yorshim, Yorshe Hon Rav, people who have a big fortune that they inherit, Shalot Harchuba, they didn't bother with it. They had to do no work. Vein Asukim, they never work. V'dogim, Vein Asukim v'dogim, Lashad Achrim Mizonos v'Asukim Lacha. They're not the kind of people who have to worry about food. So they eat also kind of early. Revi'as Machal Polim, the fourth hour is when the workers eat. Chamishas Machal Kol Adam, and in the fifth hour is when the regular people eat. Ini, is that really true? V'amar Papa Revi'as Man Sudul Kol Adam. It's actually the fourth hour that regular people eat. Ela Revi'as Machal Kol Adam. You're right. The fourth hour is when people eat, general people. Chamishas Machal Polim, and then in the fifth hour is when the Polim eat. Shishis, and that's the hour going to be of the Dayanim. Machal Talmidei Chacham. In the sixth hour, that's when the Talmidei Chachamim eat. Mikan Vo'elach Kezorik Evan Lechamos. But if a person delays eating till later than that point in time, it's like throwing a stone in an empty barrel. Rashi explains here, Kazorek Evan Lechamas Kasha. Look if it's actually bad for you. V'li nira lo kasha v'lo yafa. Rashi actually thinks that the proper explanation is it's not bad or it's not good. It's just like nothing. Amar Abaye says a qualification, lo amar elder lo taimidi b'tzafra. Eating late is only problematic or only doesn't have any benefit if you didn't taste anything in the morning. Avol taimidi b'tzafra less than, as long as you ate something in the morning, there's no need for concern. Amar Ravada Barava says mispala adam tfiloso bebeis hamerchatz. So he says a person can daven even in a beis hamerchatz. Even in a bathhouse, a person is allowed to daven. Let's turn for a moment to Rashi. Let's explain a little introductory information here. Merchatzos shalahen gimel chadarim hayulo. So their merchatzos actually had three rooms. Panimi lahaziu lishtatef, and the middle one is where you're actually sweating in there. Emtzai sheyored latocho min hamerchatz velovesh chaluko v'yotze. So there was a middle room where you kind of get changed. V'yotze lachitzon v'gomer levishaso v'nach sham sham yiges merchatz. In the outer room, you finish with any other clothing, your main clothing already on, but you're also resting in that room because it would tire a person out when he was in the bathhouse. So the point is here, we don't know exactly what he's talking about, but it says, person's allowed to daven in the Beis HaMerchatz. So the Gemara asks Meisvei, we have a question. Hanichnas lebeis hamerchatz. It says in the brisa, somebody enters the beis hamerchatz, makom shebnei adam omdin levushin, in the area, the outer room where people have clothing on, yesham mikro tefillah, the person can learn, person can daven, vein tzarich lomar sheila shalom, certainly a person can say shalom aleichem to his friend. Umeiniach tefillin, a person can even wear tefillin, vein tzarich lomar sheina choletz, certainly doesn't have to take off tefillin if they're already on. Makom shebnei adam omdim arumim ulavushin, in that middle area where people have, some people are clothed and some people are not, Yesham Sheila Shalom, again, it could say Shalom Aleichem there. Ve'ein Sham Mikra Utfila, there is no learning, there is no tefillah. Ve'eino Choletz Tefillin, and you don't you don't take off the tefillin. However, ve'eno miniach lechatchila, but you also can't put on tefillin if they're not yet on. Finally, makom shebnei adam omdim harumim, in areas where people are completely naked, ein sham sheila shalom, you can't even say shalom aleichem, ve'en tzarech lomar mikro tefillah, certainly cannot learn, cannot daven, v'cholet tefillin, the person even has to take off his tefillin, ve'en tzarech lomar she'enan menichan, obviously a person can't put on tefillin if he's not yet wearing them. So the point is, it seems to be, except for the area where everyone has clothing on, which is not even a chiddush, it seems you can't daven. All other areas you cannot daven. So the Gemara answers, Ki ka'amar Ravada bar Ava. When did Ravada bar Ava say that you are allowed to daven? V'merchatz she'ein bo adam. We're talking about a bathhouse where there's no one there at the time. Gemara says, V'amar Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina merchatz shamar af pi she'ein bo adam. It says that a merchatz, even if there's no one there at that moment, it's still treated the same way. Beis HaKisei She'amar, the same thing with the Beis HaKisei, with the bathroom. Even if there's no excrement over there, we still treat it the same way, even if it's been cleaned out. Rather, what did Ravada really, when did he really say it's halacha bechadati? He said it in a bathhouse that is totally new, it's never been used before. Rashi says, bechadati shalo rachatz bo adam me'olam, ela shehiz mino lakach. It was an area that they designated, but it was not an area that was ever used. So the Gemara says that's not so simple either. Ravina asked about that case. Ravina wasn't sure whether a designation works by a merchatz. He said his minu lebeis hakisei mahu. He was talking about a beis hakisei. So it says if he designated an area for beis hakisei, what's the halacha? Yesh zimun or ein zimun? There was no answer. Here you're saying that there's no designation. Wouldn't he have the same question by a merchatz? The Gemara says lo, no, dilma, maybe, and the Gemara will go on to say a possible distinction between the merchatz and between the beis hakisei. Just going to read here one Rashi here about tefillin. Rashi says, "V'choletz tefillin." A person should take off his tefillin meirosho from his head. Ve'ein tzarech lomar shim ochazin biyado betik shalohen she'eino meniach. For sure, if a person has to take it off, then for sure he's not allowed to put it on if he's holding it in the bag. V'hadatani ve'ein tzarech lomar v'chulu. Aidi deboy lemisni mitziyasu ve'eino meniach ve'eino choletz. So since in the middle case we want to say he doesn't wear and he doesn't take off, shem tzoi lo kemerchatz gamurhu. Because the middle case is not like a full-fledged merchatz, umixas Torah's merchatz, but it has a little of the halachas. Hilkach hayu barosho ein tzarech lachlotz. That's why in that middle case, you don't need to take it off. Haya ochzan asr lanichan sham barosho. But on the other hand, if he's holding it, it is also to put it on lechatchila. Eliyotze lechitzon minichan. He should go to the outer one and put it on. So that's an explanation of this middle case over here. Why it is that you can have a situation where you don't put on tefillin, but on the other hand, if you're wearing, you don't need to take off tefillin. And again, we'll continue with this possible distinction between a beis hakisei and a beis hamerchatz in the next video on Daf Yomi Beis.